Welcome to Nationwide. Well, it has been 40 years since, on the night of April the 26th in 1986, a catastrophic accident at the Chernobyl nuclear power station in the then Soviet Union released a highly radioactive cloud into the atmosphere. And over the following days, that cloud would drift over Europe and eventually reach Ireland. Chernobyl was one of the most important nuclear power stations in the then Soviet Union. Located in northern Ukraine, close to the border with Belarus, it consisted of 4 nuclear reactors supplying electricity to millions of people. And the plant was seen as a symbol of great progress and scientific achievement for the then Soviet Union. But in the early hours of April the 26th, during a late-night safety test, a series of catastrophic decisions were made. A reactor design flaw combined with human error caused reactor number 4 to surge out of control and explode. The blast blew the roof off the reactor and radioactive debris shot kilometers into the atmosphere. And in the days that followed, the authorities tried to contain the story. But radiation does not respect borders. And radiation alarms began to sound hundreds of miles away in Sweden, who then raised the international alarm. And across Europe, fear spread. Governments imposed food restrictions, milk was poured away, and parents were advised to keep children indoors when it was raining. And back in Chernobyl, thousands of men were ordered to fill in the gaping hole in the reactor with sand and cement and lead, anything they could think of to try and stop the radiation escaping. Footage here showing young men shoveling back into the reactor pieces of highly radioactive graphite, a death mission for so many. And here in Ireland, the radiation from Chernobyl was detected in dairy products.
Do you believe that people should be concerned at the moment?
Milk taken directly from the cows on Monday morning, one sample, did give us levels which were very much higher than before. And I have to admit, surprised us a little.
And the radioactive fallout caused political fallout.
Fianna Fáil leader Mr Hoy accused the government of dragging its feet on the issue.
Well, Chernobyl came out of the blue.
As the immediate panic eased, another reality emerged: the human cost. Images started to reach Ireland of the millions of people living on contaminated land. And in the months and years after, children started to be born with terrible defects and disabilities.
And how are you feeling now?
One of those watching on was Aidy Roach. Based in County Cork, Aidy was working as a peace educator in the mid-1980s, teaching about nuclear weapons and Cold War tensions.
Of the campaign for nuclear disarmament.
So when the news of Chernobyl finally reached the outside world, she immediately understood the scale of what had happened.
Aidy Roach.
9 million people were deemed to be impacted at the time, and half of those were children. You know, it's not like the images from a war, from a famine, from a bomb or a bullet or a drone attack, where you see the immediacy of that destruction, of starvation, of famine, of a bomb or a bullet. But with Chernobyl, it is nonetheless a war. But in this war, you cannot see the enemy because radiation is invisible. You can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't touch it. And yet it does its insidious violence to every aspect of the cycle of life.
In the town of Bragan near Chernobyl,
over the years that followed, Aidy would go on to found Chernobyl Children International, one of the largest and most sustained humanitarian responses to the disaster anywhere in the world. And she remembers what it was like when she first visited a children's orphanage after the nuclear disaster.
I remember being in one of these homes and we were being shown all the different babies. Like, I remember most of all being affected by the silence. None of these children were moving or saying anything, because why would a child cry? Because there's nobody there to pick this baby up. And we came upon one cot and there was a little baby in a cloth straitjacket, and he was about 4 months old, and he had a huge tumour down the left side of his face. And actually, I honestly, I just kind of backed away and I walked around some of the other cots, but somehow I could feel this one eye, because he only has one eye, was kind of boring through my back. Don't ignore me. Don't turn your back on me.
Adi became a leading advocate for these children. She also organised for convoys of aid to be sent to Ukraine, where Chernobyl was located, and Belarus, a country to the north where 70% of the radiation fell. But the memory of that little boy Adi first encountered wouldn't leave her, and so she went back to help him.
And would you believe, on Christmas Day, 30 years ago, I brought this little boy along with another little girl called Anna. I brought them into Ireland for life-saving treatment, actually. And this little boy had his life saved in Temple Street. And what came out of that column was this: we had saved his life for what? To send him back into another home, for him to end up in another institution, to languish there for whatever life he had left. We couldn't do that.
Adi went on to establish a paediatric cardiac program which over 4,000 children have benefited from, and which continues today in Ukraine.
Many of these Belarusian children were just babies or not even born when the world's worst nuclear disaster at Chernobyl destroyed most of their country.
And as well as bringing Irish volunteers to the children in the orphanages, she also started to bring the children from Chernobyl to Ireland.
And doctors reckon that a month spent in a clean and healthy environment will add 2 years to their lives.
Each year, a group of children would be sponsored to stay in Ireland for a few weeks with a host family.
So, I mean, it just makes Christmas, it's what it's all about, when we have the 5 and our own 3.
And Adi helped broker a deal between the Irish and Belarusian governments to open an adoption corridor, resulting in hundreds of children being adopted here in Ireland.
We adopted Philippe on the 15th of May 2001. And we're hoping to adopt Mikolai sometime in the year 2004, please God.
One of those first children that Adi helped to arrange an adoption for was Riasa. She was in an orphanage for abandoned babies when she was adopted by the Carolyn family in County Meath. And today, she's paying a surprise visit to Adi to say hello.
Oh, sweetheart!
I'm going to steal your mic off you and I'll put it on my Insta.
These photographs, this is remarkable. These are photographs of you.
Yes.
Where were these taken, and do you remember that time?
So these were taken in one of the orphanages that I would have been in since birth, really. Because after I was born, I was placed into an orphanage because my parents had abandoned me in the hospital.
What was it like being in those orphanages?
It was quite depressing, quite sad. You know, there's a lot of neglect experienced. You know, a lot of children, including myself, were just kind of incarcerated into these orphanages, and a lot of the time I was just stuck in a cot. Wasn't allowed out. Even I was never taught how to eat or drink or even to walk.
When she first came to Ireland, she was 6 years of age, but only looked around 2 as a result of being so malnourished and confined to a cot all of her life. And thanks to the Chernobyl Children's Project, she was adopted.
It gave me a complete lease of life, new life, because not only was I able to get all the medical help and assistance that I needed in order to give me that better life, because if I hadn't, I more than likely wouldn't have survived as long as I have. I was lucky that someone seen me and was able to do that, but so many are not able to.
But that in the sense that we will learn the lesson of Chernobyl so that it will never happen anybody, any place in the world ever again.
And still today, Adi Roche continues her advocacy work, continuing to shine a light on the people of the region and the suffering that they have to endure. Why do you think, Adi, the Irish responded in such an enormous way?
I think that we are moved by the impulses of the heart. I believe that.